This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No. Always live. Always real. Always unpredictable.
You with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I'm in.
Tori just won't let it go.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, March 19th. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Tori, Bo, Brandon, and I'm Sam. Let's get started. We have new details right now on that college admissions cheating scandal involving actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. First, USC is taking action as we speak, not allowing students associated with the alleged cheating scam to register for classes or get transcripts while the university reviews their enrollment. Next, Lori Loughlin is adding some big guns to her defense team, hiring a lawyer who was once one of the Department of Justice's lead prosecutors against Enron. And now there's a new video of a girl who claims she went to high school with Lori's daughters, Olivia and Isabella. She's a YouTube vlogger. Listen to what she has to say.
How is she doing this? I was just like confused. I was like, literally, how does she travel for YouTube? How does she have time to make YouTube videos? Like an arrangement with the school or something, like I thought? It just didn't kind of make sense to me, because these schools, your life is literally 100% school.
Yep, and Hollywood A-lister Julia Roberts is also weighing in on the scandal of the moment. Listen to what she had to say.
That to me is so sad, because I feel from an outsider that it says a little bit, I don't have enough faith in you.
Ain't that the truth? Nicely said, Julia Roberts. You don't have enough faith in your children to do it on their own.
Yeah, and you know, I hate to say this about Olivia Jade, but if you can't fill out a college application, you probably don't deserve to go. I mean, let's just be honest.
Whoa. This girl's successful at 18, though, Bo. She had, she had a deal with Sephora.
That's okay, but doesn't mean that you should be going to college. Not everybody is right for college. She's not.
All she wanted to be, Brandon, was a brainless influencer, and she didn't have to have a USC degree to do it. I'm just being honest.
She wasted $500,000.
I don't think anyone here believes that she actually wanted to go to school.
No, but it's a great opportunity, guys, for USC to determine right now what type of student body they want. They're going to have to review these students. They're going to have to see, do they have the merit to be there? And USC, considering the Reggie Bush controversy, too, which wasn't all USC's fault, it's an opportunity for them to say, what kind of student do we want here at USC?
What happens to the students? I know that they're reviewing the ones that are about to come in. Fine. Yep. Obviously. What happens to the ones that are already enrolled? Go ahead.
I think it should be an individual case scenario where you go back and you look to see, you do your due diligence and see if anyone's ever taken the test with the proctors, anyone ever gloated about not having to fill out a college application. But if there's a kid who they got pushed in there, they should stay if they're doing great and living up to that school's merit.
Yeah, but if you're an athlete, here's my qualm. If you're an athlete and you find out that you somehow got tested positive for some sort of performance-enhancing drugs, you would immediately be pulled from that team. You would immediately be suspended and expelled from that school. So why is it any different scholastically, Tori?
Because it's not as clear cut, right? With drug tests for athletes, it's a positive or a negative. Here it's, should they have gotten in? That's a very unenforceable, fuzzy line of...
They cheated to get in.
Right, but how do you, you have to prove that with each case-by-case basis. Yep. I agree with you. I'm angry. But I think they've got to restructure it from, as Bo said.
Why is Bo laughing?
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking, I said their performance-enhancing drug, their PED was their parental-enhancing drug.
Ooh.
No, that's true.
Can we cut that? That's going on the reel.
Let's do it.
Same acronym, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right. Well, in other news right now, major disasters are causing misery across the country as we speak, with deadly flooding in the Midwest and a dangerous chemical fire in Houston. So let's get to Kelly Schubert with the latest. Kelly.
That's right, Sam. Right now, 8 million people are dealing with historic and catastrophic flooding in the Midwest. 3 people have died, and the bad news is there's more rain on the way. The worst of it is here in Nebraska, where more than 2/3 of the counties there are under a state of emergency right now. And Sam, now I want to show you an incredible video coming from Texas. A fire is burning out of control at a chemical plant near Houston, and those who live in the area say they're having trouble breathing. But city officials say the air has been tested and it is safe to be outside. Sam, I'll of course keep you updated on both of these developing stories.
Wow, thank you, Kelly. If anybody in our DBL Nation are in those areas, please write in, let us know how you are. Stay safe out there. We are thinking about you. And New Zealand's leader is taking decisive action right now following the deadly terror attack last week when a gunman stormed 2 mosques and killed 50 people. This is Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who is expected to announce new gun reform measures in a matter of days. She also spoke about how she's denying the gunman any notoriety. Watch.
We need to acknowledge and do what we can to prevent the notoriety that this individual seeks. Obviously, had a range of reasons for committing this atrocious terrorist attack. Lifting his profile was one of them, and that's something that we can absolutely deny him. One thing I can assure you, you won't hear me speak his name.
So I've always been interested in leaders in sort of consoler-in-chief type of positions. We had Lincoln with Gettysburg, we had Reagan at the Challenger, Obama singing Amazing Grace, George W. Bush at the World Trade Center. These are moments that were sort of really connecting, right? And people always say women are always a little bit too emotional to be in politics. That was for a long time. That was sort of the thing. But the one thing that all has in common is emotion, and emotion as a nurturer. And I want to play a quick video here. I don't think we have sound here, but this has been seen by 10 million people. And that's pure empathy. That's a mother. That's someone who lost someone. And wearing the hijab, looking her in the eye, holding her, that is pure emotion.
And couple that with her decisive action.
It's not just emotion, it's leadership. Go ahead, that's exactly right.
The gun reform laws, making sure that they're banning semi-automatic weapons. You're seeing the citizens step up, turning in their own semi-automatic weapons. In the memo, I think we have a photo of somebody, a lot of these New Zealand citizens are tweeting in their photos because when they go to the police department there, they have to turn in their firearm or they're doing it on their own will. And then this person writes in for destruction. Other people will say, because I don't need it to go hunt, because I don't need it to tend to my farm. And it's nice to see the entire country come together after such a tragedy, but with action.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure they see our news. I'm sure they see our tragedy. So you're saying that it just doesn't have to be a mosque. We talked, it's been a synagogue, it's been a Baptist church, it's been country music concerts. So I think people are realizing that these weapons in the hands of the wrong person with the wrong ideology is deadly, and they're turning these in.
And she's only, just so you know, she's 38 years old.
I know, she's my age.
She's your age. She's 1 year older than me. I mean, what a leader.
She had her baby in office.
Oh, and she took her to the UN.
I know.
Baby.
She's amazing.
Sounds like you guys wanted to run here.
I would love if she ran here. I would be very happy if she led our country.
She's someone I would look up to now. I mean, someone who could, and emotions, just the last thing in emotions, they can heal a nation.
Would you not want to see someone like her run in this country? Considering how she handled
we're just such vastly different countries. We're just vastly different, and it's just a different system. I mean, you know, New Zealand hasn't had a mass shooting since I think 1990.
Do you like how she handled this?
Yeah, I think it shows empathy. I think a lot of people want that, as Tori said. Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do things, and again, as I've said all along, I think evil is evil, and I think it's tough to eradicate that. When you have people volunteering to give up their guns, that's great, but they're not the people that were going to kill people anyway. So it's a nuanced issue, is all. But I can see why people would look up to her.
And it's not just us being just, you know, like girls and emotional, because I know people out there are thinking that, oh, I'm just emotional and carrying over. No, emotions can literally heal a broken nation, and you need that again with action. But you can't be a robot. You've got to be a human being.
Yeah,
you have to.
Fair enough. Well said, Tori. Well, meantime, there is another unlikely hero in all of this. It is 17-year-old an Australian who's being called Egg Boy. He rose to fame after cracking an egg on an Australian senator's head. On live TV, that senator had blamed Muslim immigration for the terror attack. And we're now learning that Egg Boy is donating proceeds from his GoFundMe page meant for his legal defense to the victims in the mosque attack. What do you think about that, Bo?
Unlikely hero, would not call him that.
I would.
Why?
Because I can only liken it to what we're experiencing in this country, and this is just my opinion. We have a leader that says our biggest threat is Muslims with a Muslim ban, with illegal immigration.
Which is not an actual Muslim ban.
With illegal immigration, right? With MS-13, when in reality, the FBI and Homeland Security sent a bulletin earlier this year to Washington, D.C., to the White House, to our president, saying that white supremacist right-wing groups carried out more attacks in the U.S. than any other domestic extremist group in the past 16 years, and that white supremacist violence has grown by 182% last year alone. So that is our biggest threat. And guess what? Words like we saw this senator in New Zealand, words with discrimination and hate lead to acts of discrimination and hate. And we're seeing that here in our own country by people being emboldened by our own president's anti-immigration rhetoric.
Well, we've got a lot of problems in this country, Sam. I mean, when you're looking at the fact that we're on track to have 1 million people coming here illegally,
but you're deflecting from my question.
No, I'm not. Well, what's the question?
Our number one threat is white supremacy.
Do you agree, yay or nay?
I would not say that that's true at all.
I just read you a stat from the FBI and Homeland Security.
But I know a story we didn't cover, actually, was the Turkish citizen who's actually Dutch who just killed 3 people on a train and wounded 5 others.
That's terrible.
Well, that's terrorism.
Oh, that is terrorism. But I'm telling you right now, but you're not acknowledging the FBI and Homeland Security said that white supremacist groups have carried out more attacks in the U.S. than any other domestic extremist group.
In terms of concentrated mass attacks, yes, but not in terms of overall. If you look at homicides, well, then count up homicides.
No, I'm talking about extremist terrorist attacks. You just brought up a Turkish terrorist attack. That's terrible.
So what specific attacks are we talking about?
Shootings. In 2018, almost all of the
Charleston being one of them.
100% of them were white supremacists.
Right.
Charleston being one of them. I don't have that in front of me.
I think we're just trying to Monday morning quarterback something like what happened in New Zealand. We don't really know everything about him.
I think we need to just acknowledge facts, though. When I read facts on the show, I would like you to just have an honest conversation with me and say, that's terrible. We need to tackle white supremacy in this country, just like we need to tackle other things. But right now, our biggest threat is white supremacy.
Okay, that's fair. Are you tying that to Donald Trump, though? Do you think he's responsible for that?
I'm not saying he's responsible. I do think words matter. And I do think our leader has to be very, very careful that when you stoke fear out there, that you're going to embolden those that do have an extreme ideology. And we are seeing that play out in front of us. There's no coincidence that the numbers, that the statistics correlate.
And I also would say just one thing, too, is that Trump and other people, I agree, don't acknowledge this white supremacy. When asked, they say they're good on both sides, or I don't think it's a big problem. When a Sam said it's almost 200% rise, why is no one acknowledging that fact? And again, facts are facts are facts. These aren't made up.
A lot of people don't realize what's going on in Malmo, Sweden, too, which has been a hotbed of terrorism.
I'm sticking with the U.S. here. I'm just asking you specifically the rise in 182%, almost 200%. Why won't anyone acknowledge that?
I'd say let's deal with Chicago first. Let's tackle that one.
That's beyond me. I think that.
Well, there's a lot of murders, guys, that go on every day. We just don't report on them.
It's just funny how the first thing is let's go to Chicago. Everyone's talking about let's go to Chicago.
We could report on that today.
No one's going over to Chicago to help out.
Because I think it's because
if Chicago is that big of a deal, but if Chicago is that big of a deal to, you can say Republicans or people who want to deflect from saying white supremacists and all, then why aren't they in Chicago helping out? Why is no one going there helping out what's going on?
I don't understand why we're deflecting when I just read the statistics from the FBI and Homeland Security. I don't understand why we are not dealing with the issue. Anymore. Let's just make our country safer. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. When I'm reading facts from Homeland Security and FBI, and we're not talking about white supremacy being a problem in this country, we got a problem.
Yeah.
We got a problem. We can continue the conversation in the break. I think our own DBL Nation will want to chime in on this one because it affects all of us. We are all in this together. We'll be right back. So we just had a really thorough conversation about the state of our country. Now, Bo brought up, do I blame our president for white supremacy? I said, no, I don't inherently blame him, but I do think that words matter, and I do think that it's important to call out white supremacy because the FBI and Homeland Security has warned with a bulletin, warned the White House that white supremacy is on the rise and that they have carried out more attacks in the U.S. than any other domestic extremist group in the past 16 years. All I'm simply saying, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, this is an extremist group as well. Let's deal with all extremist groups, all of them under the sun, including, and most importantly, white supremacy.
Well, sure, but I just don't know why we're cherry-picking that one because there's extremism in every respect. Left, right, center, doesn't really matter.
Well, it's the leading cause right now. So if this is the leading cause, why don't we not stoke fear?
I personally don't know any white supremacists, so it's a little difficult for me to kind of chime in on something when I'm from the South and I don't know anyone like that. I mean,
well, I'm glad you don't know anyone like that.
But I
don't know, but do you know any Muslim terrorists either?
I don't know. Thankfully, I don't.
So I don't think that equates
but I'm just saying,
to it being a problem.
I think the notion that there's some sort of uprising of some sort of racially led attack, I'm not seeing that.
But it's not about whether you see it or not. It's an actual warning from our Homeland Security.
But I can warn anybody that anything's going to be a problem. You know, I mean, like, again, gun laws are the strictest in Chicago that there are anywhere else in the country, but look what happens on a daily basis.
Well, I think,
but nobody wants to acknowledge
we're not acknowledging, unfortunately, the threat of white supremacy and white supremacist violence in this country. And I think that needs to be just as important as illegal immigration, in my opinion.
Listen to Stephen, Mike.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, when we talk about what you're talking about, the crowds, the drugs, but specifically the violence. Have police and residents of Miami Beach fed up with spring breakers. And after a lifeguard stand went up in flames early this morning, the city and law enforcement are having an emergency meeting to address the chaos. So DBL Nation, would you let your high school age kid go away on spring break? Ooh, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Let's get right to your comments.
Here we go. Sherry on Twitter says, high schooler? Heck no. They're minors and have no business at spring break where most vacationers are in college. This is what my stepmom, you guys met my little sister before she went off to college. She had my other little sister, who's 31 years old now, be the chaperone. She went and met with all of the parents, met with all of the kids. They had this big meeting, and they were saying they were going down to OBX, Outer Banks, North Carolina. But I think a lot of parents are a little weary on this because of what you guys did when you were in high school and in college.
Projection.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you're talking to me because you should be. Kimberly on Twitter says, I would let my daughter go, but I would secretly go to check up on her during the week. So this is really hard for me because I went to beach week at like 16, 17.
That's insane.
Okay. And we had a group of my friends all had to convince my parents. We did a mock trial with evidence, with writing. We had a whole list of things. We went with a chaperone, but I will say it's nothing but bad things. So I wouldn't let my kid do it.
Well, Chandler from Facebook says, I don't have a problem with my kids going on a trip for spring break, but maybe not to a popular spot like Miami. It's not their behavior I'm worried about, it's everyone else's. Yeah, I totally agree, especially with the potency of drugs right now. Fentanyl coming across, potency of marijuana. I don't agree with it at all. I wouldn't let my kid go.
And kidnapping. I mean, there's also kidnapping.
I agree with Bo on this. Lauren on Twitter says, I would hesitate to send my high schooler on a spring break party trip, no matter how many officers they put out there. Bad things are going to keep happening. It's the culture of spring break. That's exactly why people go on spring break, is to let loose, party, drink. They think they're invincible. They're 16. No, maybe in college, fine, they're adults then, but I would never allow my child to go to spring break at that age. That's insane. All right.
It was fun, though. It was fun.
Was it fun, Tori? You'll have to tell us about it. You'll have to tell us. Coming up on DBL, we know this thing. We'll make waffles, but did you know it's a shortcut to another delicious breakfast? You're not going to want to miss our surprising food hacks when we come back on DBL.
Beach week for me was Delaware. What up, Rehoboth? Oh, yeah. Huh? Bethany Beach in Delaware.
I spent my childhood there.
Yeah, if you're from the East Coast, that's sort of, if you're not in New York, that's where you, it's Delaware. It's beautiful. Funnel cakes abound, but also
Popcorn.
Caramel popcorn abounds, the boardwalk. But, you know, I was 16, 17, and man, would I not let my child is not going to do that. People are writing in, a lot of people are writing in, and people are very feeling that the conversation, which was somewhat, I think it's happening across the country to a lot of people. People are saying you're ignoring white supremacy, so a lot of you guys are writing in. Stephen George just writes in, the new trailer for Toy Story 4 just came out today. First of all, I never cry more than in a Toy Story. Love me some Toy Story. Apparently it's a tearjerker. It always is. And I believe this is the last one. Leo, am I correct? This is the last one. And there's a famous picture of Tom Hanks saying his last words is Woody. I can't. With Woody. And who's your favorite Toy Story character? I really like the nervous dinosaur. Is that him? I like that guy. That's me. That's my spirit animal. I don't know. Oh, I think it's Wallace Shaw or something. Anywho, it's Phil Cohen. It's not about Trump. It's the Civil War, Civil Rights Movement. Think of the women's rights, Stonewall. We'll all be fighting rights no matter what. It's very true. Thanks, guys.
Here's a very fun way to cook scrambled eggs with a cappuccino machine. Break up the eggs, a little salt, a little pepper, and about a teaspoon and a half of butter.
A couple months back, this hack video went viral. Now, Martha Stewart making scrambled eggs with the cappuccino machine. So this got us thinking here at DBL, what are some other food hacks? This is why I met up with Chef Jason Bray, owner of the J Street Food Truck, to learn some ways to up my creative food game. Check it out. What are we making today?
All right, we got our first hack is gonna be, you like crispy hash browns, right?
Yes,
you go to
I
a
do.
restaurant, you want them crispy, how they cook it on a flat top. A lot of times you don't get that at home. So what we do is we're gonna do crispy hash brown waffles. You do it in a waffle maker. You do a little bit of just, fresh shredded hash browns from the grocery store. I'll let you mix in. We got a little bit of shredded cheese in there. Yep, dump all that, and then we got salt and pepper. Real simple.
Salt and pepper's here.
All right, and then you just get your waffle iron, get it nice and hot. Key is you want to get lots of spray so it's not going to stick.
Okay. No stick.
And we put cheese. It's not your typical hash brown, but again, you won't do anything different after this. Nice cheesy hash brown. You know, it's getting nice and hot. We're gonna load these guys up here, get us 2 crispy, cheesy hash browns. And the other nice thing of this is you kind of set it and forget it. You can put these in, they take about 12 minutes to cook, and you can make some other stuff and get your coffee going.
Okay, set it, forget it. The hash browns are cooking. Let's move on to the next hack.
We're gonna do a quick cake that you can make in the microwave.
That's
real
quick
simple.
cake.
So we got all our liquid ingredients. I'll have you put it in the blender. We got some milk, little oil, little egg yolks, little egg whites. You go ahead and dump everything into the blender.
Nice.
And this is just super quick cake. Last, add the flour to the mix, and then go ahead and give a good blend. Blend that up for a little bit.
What is that?
So this is just a soda siphon. Soda siphon or a whipped cream canister. They're not too expensive if, some people might have them if you make homemade whipped cream or make your own seltzer water. We're just gonna pour this guy.
You can make seltzer water with that stuff?
Yep.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna fill this guy just to spell this out. Nice.
Just a little bit halfway?
Yeah, yep, about halfway. All right. Now let's throw it in the microwave.
It's 35 seconds, let it sit. Hey, Jason, I have to thank you for these food hacks, man. You know what? Martha Stewart must be cray if she thinks she can food hack like Jason Bray.
Yeah, dig in. It's just the same one. Again, the airiness of the cake is just like a sponge.
So spongy.
So sponge. It's almost
like my hair almost.
And again, you can do, put some fresh berries on there. You can, change the flavor as far as adding cocoa powder, a little lemon zest.
That's what I'm talking about. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on. Oh, that was good. Now, to get the full recipes on both of these hacks, visit our website, dailyblastlive.com/recipes, and we'll be right back.
Ice-T, welcome to Daily Blast Live. How you feeling this morning?
What's up, Al? What's happening, baby? I'm good.
How does somebody go from releasing the first hip-hop album with the parental advisory warning sticker to now playing a hard-nosed detective on SVU?
I have no idea. I mean, this is the furthest away from my life that I thought. I mean, you got to remember, before I started making those records, I thought I was just going to be in the streets my whole life. I thought, my life was going to be some arch criminal that was always going to, be one step ahead of the cops. Now here I am later on in life playing the police. I can say I had a lot of experience dealing with the police firsthand, but that's where one of my mottos come in. I say you don't guide life, you ride life.
We've been talking about SVU, obviously, and I'm about to say this, but I can't believe it, but I guess it does make sense. The show's been on for 20 seasons. Will there be a 21st season, and are you just going to ride this out until it ends?
Yeah, I'm black. I don't jump off a ship while it's still floating, Jack. You dig? I'm going to be on it till the wheels fall off. I mean, if we get one more, we haven't been officially picked up, but when we do get picked up, we'll stay positive. We will have broken the longest running television show drama in history of television.
Now, one of my favorite parts of SVU is your friendship with Mariska Hargitay, or Detective Olivia Benson, as everybody knows her. Can you tell us one surprising fact about her that our fans like me wouldn't know?
Mariska's real crazy. Like, you know, I mean, she acts real tough on the show, but she's funny. She loves to act like she can rap. She dances around. She could be a comedian.
Your true crime show, In Ice Cold Blood, is back for a second season. Tell me, what got you into true crime? Because for real, it was my girl. Like, that's what you do on in the afternoons on the Sunday, is just watch City Confidential straight. So how did you get into it?
Absolutely the same way. Coco was, I'm not lying. Coco watched Snap. So Snap, people out there, your listeners or your viewers know, Snap, if they don't know, it's a show about women killing their husbands. So I advise any guy, if your wife is watching that show, watch it with her. Like, look over, check her temperature every once in a while. Oh, is that when you think it's okay, you know? And that's how it started. And then we met the people from Oxygen, and they said, Ice, you would be an excellent person to host one of our shows. And I said, cool. So I said, you know, if I get to help create it, and so that's why I'm executive producer, and we based it off of sex, money, murder, and lust. And I wanted to hit it from a different angle, not from the cops' angle, but from how diabolical people are and how cold-blooded people could be, and what made them think that murder is a solution, like you're gonna get away with it. I'm from the streets. I grew up around a lot of tough people, but never in any of my conversations did anybody say, we'll just kill them.
Everybody, that's the man, the legend, Ice-T. Thank you for joining us on Daily Blast Live. For more of Ice-T, catch new episodes of In Ice Cold Blood on Monday on the Oxygen channel. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Welcome back to DBL. A thread on Reddit has the internet fired up, and it's all about chuggas. Let me explain. One Reddit user asked, how many chuggas are you supposed to say before choo-choo? And it set off a major debate. Some people say 2, as in chugga chugga choo-choo, and others say 8, as in chugga 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 choo-choo. So DBL Nation, what's the right amount of chuggas? It's 6. It's chugga 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 choo-choo.
No, it's chugga 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 choo-choo.
So you're 8.
I'm an 8.
What are you, Bo?
For the sake of time, 2.
3. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
No. Chugga, chugga. No, that's 6.
Chugga, chugga, chugga.
Oh, chugga, 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 choo, choo. That was mine.
Make it cooler, y'all. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
That was much cooler.
Thank you.
You made it cool.
Thank
you did. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.